Hello, Brahmas 1981 here. Another day. You have to forgive me. My back is really in bad shape. Oh, well, I don't want you guys or anyone to think that I'm going to be hospitalized. My back is pretty damn poor the last couple days. I don't know why. But anyway, another Tar Heel Ants unboxing. So, for those of you watching my more recent videos, you should probably know what I'm getting. I'll wait until I open the package to tell you all, for those of you who didn't watch them, what I got. But it is a new ant colony, and should be a handful of nestmates that Mack forgot to put in my last order. Now, I'm saying that because I want folks to realize that, and this is not to say, like, I don't want people to think that I'm some Tar Heel Ants groupie. Alright? I mean, in one way you can say I am because I'm a fan, obviously. You have to figure that out. But no, that's not the case. No business, no person is perfect. Some of you don't know is my last order that I got, that really big package, that was actually 3 orders in one that Mack shipped. That's confusing. So, and you have to understand, I also talked to Mack over the phone. We become pretty friendly towards each other, and sometimes I will make substitutions over the phone and all that, so mistakes happen, but I point this out, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. He forgot it? No problem. Send it in he was ready to send him right away, and I was like, I don't really need him, so I know we're waiting for the permits for the new ant colony. Send him when I get the new one. Done deal. So, let's open this. I just woke up, as usual. Alright. This was shipped out USPS. I was kind of surprised it came today. It's so funny with USPS. Almost every time Mack sends me a package to them, the information is like, it's funky. They're like, for like a day it showed we don't have the package. So I contacted Mack, and it's like, Mack, did you not drop this off? I thought you said you're going to drop it off. I mean, again, this is not me going, why did you drop it off? It's like, just, hey, heads up, what's going on? He's like, no, I dropped it off. He's like, oh, you know how they are. Wait a day. Sure enough, waited a day, and all of a sudden, like 8 different updates. It's like, oh my God. All right, so I got my permit here from APHIS. I thought these permits were coming from. Is APHIS a part of the? Because I know the permits weren't coming from the Fish and Wildlife Administration, but I thought it was coming from the Food and Drug Administration. Oh man, I gotta look this up. Apparently, oh no, yeah. So I am right. So the USDA, that's what I meant, United States Department of Agriculture. So I was right, but I think APHIS is just a part of it, maybe. And it's not important, but I just find that stuff interesting. Let's see. Mack permit again. I'm just reading this. Interstate movement between states. Now understand these permits. This is for these like I just said, it's for interstate travel. Obviously, there's still laws regarding what ant species you can keep in which states. So I will announce the species now. It is Pogonomyrmex maricopa. Now, here's what's exciting. And I'm going to point you all. You go on YouTube and you will find a plethora of videos talking about harvester ants, the most powerful sting in the animal kingdom, and you get people stinging themselves. I don't really, to each their own. I mean, even I find them a little entertaining, but I'm not very supportive of those type of things. I think people are taking unnecessary risks for anaphylactic shock and different things. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And for what? Because they can lie. They'd be like, oh my God. So it's like, yes, I'm not saying they're liars. I'm saying they potentially could be. And because of that, what validity? And so everyone has different pain tolerances, especially when it comes to men and women. Let's face it, women have much better pain tolerances overall than men. I'm convinced of that because, come on, give me a break. You ever see a guy with the flu? He's done it out. You might as well just put a fork in him. A woman, she'll still go, still drive out, do errands, and clean the house. And ladies, that's awesome. For whatever reason, trust me, that's one of the things I respect the heck out of you most. But anyway, enough of that type of talk. I don't like that crap, that type of talk. So let's go dig in. Oh, so I was saying, so you're always seeing, oh, it's the most powerful sting, whatever. But a lot of the times, I'm looking at the ant, I'm like, that's not the most powerful sting. It's a harvester ant, but it's probably the more popular one, especially if they're larger, the Pogonomyrmex barbatus, which, you guys see my videos, I keep a pretty decent-sized colony of them. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure their sting doesn't, feel good. I'm sure it's like, it's not like, getting little kisses, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think I don't think I found a video, because this species, the maricopa in particular, they're very bright red. They have a very bright red color, and I've yet to see a video of what I believe is actually a Pogonomyrmex maricopa. And now if I'm wrong, and I'm 90% sure I'm correct, but if I am wrong, feel free to leave a comment below. We can have a discussion. Just please keep it respectful. Let's not get into arguments, but this has the most potent sting. Now, when they say the most potent sting, I forgot a trash bag. Damn. Got so good about getting the trash bags for these packages. You gotta remember, it doesn't mean it's deadly. When it comes to venom, venom is not a simple subject. It's not, this has more powerful venom, therefore it's more deadly. That's really not how venom works. That's not how it is. You have some venom is more effective against certain types of animals. Some venom goes after very specific things that may not affect one animal, but affect the other. For example, the hognose snake, which is, it's another controversial subject, but they go back and forth on it, it seems. But most people would agree, most scientists or whatever, that it is a rear-fanged venomous snake. The venom thing is the argument, but it's designed because I believe a large portion of its diet is amphibians, and there's certain types of amphibians that'll bloat, they'll air up. So the idea is the stuff, the rear fang and the type of stuff they have, it prevents them from doing that. So that's just one example. For instance, someone's like, well, I'd rather get bit by a king cobra than this and that. I'm like, well, that's pretty silly, because if a king cobra is full size, a single dose of their bite, oh my god. Have you seen a king cobra being milked for venom? Yeah. So the amount matters too. So let's see. I'm making sure there's no escapees, because I don't feel like getting stung. There. And I'll dig later for the nestmates. I'm not gonna. It's very possible Mack might have forgotten them again. Mack's probably like, shut up. Yeah, well, definitely gonna tease the hell out of them. Let's see. Oop. Let's take a look. Forgive me, I'm going to pull this a little off camera because I want to inspect. Man, all the light in my apartment. Oh, darn it, let's see. Well, we got live ants. I'm trying to find the queen in there. Let's see if it'll focus. Let me pull my hand away. There we go. Oh, there's the queen. You can see her now in the video. They definitely look like maricopa. But for those of you who are keeping ants, especially the Pogonomyrmex occidentalis, you might think these are Pogonomyrmex occidentalis. Now, the reality is, it is very, God darn it, it is very possible that Mack or anyone else might have identified them. It is possible these are not maricopa. Excuse me. I think they are, because what ends up happening is, as the colony gets bigger, the brood get brighter. They get a little bigger, and they get a little brighter. Right now, they're kind of, forgive me, I'm forgetting the name of the first group of workers. There's a special name for them, because typically they're smaller. They don't live as long. Because they're kind of like the emergency worker. Like the queen's like, oh, I need help right away. So she puts out some eggs that are maybe not as, for the lack of a better word, potent. And they're usually smaller and don't live as long. But I think they are maricopa. I really do. Mack definitely knows his stuff. But when we were talking, he definitely did say, like, I believe they are. Like, and he waited because he didn't. So people have approached me for buying or trading ant colonies with other people, because those of you may notice, I've only purchased ants so far from Mack and from Tar Heel Ants, and one of the reasons is not because other sellers are bad, although there are a few that I just won't get into that. There are a few that I would not order from, but there are many that I would. It's just, you have to understand, like, when I told him I wanted maricopa, he was like, oh, I have some what I believed in maricopa, but I'm not going to sell them or send them to you until I know. You see what I'm saying? That's why I do business with as much business as I do with Mack at Tar Heel Ants. Of course, availability and customer service and all that stuff is a huge factor, but it's because he doesn't really, as far as I know, as far as I've done business with him, he has not sold queens only, because you can make a little more money if you sell the queens with some workers and brood. Now, with saying that, there's a little, there's some truth to that, but you got to remember, if someone catches 30 queens, the odds are maybe 5 of them are infertile, another 5 die. But if you're selling just the queen, then, it's the customers that are going to get the 5 that are infertile, or 5 are going to die shortly. That's not to say people are out there to try to rip people off or anything like that, because keeping a queen until she hatches her first, group of workers, it takes a while. Some ants a very long time, like depending on which species. So I just want you to understand that. That's why some places are a little more pricey than others, and so forth and so on. Some are this or that, but yeah, I'm rambling at this point, aren't I? So I apologize. But I always like to discuss that because, I've heard comments, people say, oh, Mack's, ants are expensive. It's like, well, compare them. What are you comparing them to? Oh, man, come on. Focus. There we go. Now, the maricopas also vary. This might be one of the darker ones, which what I'll do, if it ends up being one of the darker ones, they don't get the ruby red, no big deal, not a problem. I will not be a dissatisfied customer at all. I just will simply contact Mack and others and say, "Oh, I'm still looking for one that's got a little more oomph to it." That's what it is. Sometimes when I go on the, I don't do much on the forums, but when I go and look at comments and all this stuff, I'm amazed how people, their expectations, and this is just my opinion, but they're a little, for lack of a better word, screwed. They're a little more, in some cases unreasonable. You have to understand this is, especially when it comes to identification, it's not an exact science. I mean, unless you have a certain type of microscope and a lot of expertise, it is not easy to identify certain animals. Not just ants, but animals in general. So, that's why the names of all these animals, they change. They can change so often. Anyway, you're probably thinking, you're promoting tar heel ants so much, but yet you're also kind of like not promoting it. That's not the case. I'm just a very practical person. I have very reasonable expectations. Man, can't wait till this colony gets bigger. All right, enough chit chat. By the way, what are they going into? They're going into this Polio's Ants mini hearth that is going to be cleaned. Like, just needs to be dusted, but it will be cleaned and prepped and all that before I put them in. So, again, Brabus 19-1, I do apologize for the rambling and all that jazz. But as always, feel free to leave a comment below. Just be, as I said before, just be respectful. And I will I'm sorry about the arm. Got to click the video off. And I will do an update video once the queen moves into a new home and all that jazz. And I'll do an update video on my other colonies. They're doing very, very, very well. Although the Pogonomyrmex Barbados, I noticed that and it's very expectable, when I finally got her into the new XL Labyrinth, Tar Heel Ants XL Labyrinth, I think it's not stunt, but I think she paused for like a day or so laying eggs. Completely understandable. That's a very, very, very stressful couple days for her. But now she's back doing her normal thing. But I mentioned that because you'll see probably in the update video that the brood pile's not as big as they were before. But I also I'm not kidding. Everyone, even after I moved them into the new formicarium, I've noticed a significant amount of increase in workers. So, yeah. So that all those piles that she had before are, full-grown workers. Sorry, I'm gonna just roll. I'm wondering, even during the development from egg to larva to pupae and all that, I wonder how much control the colony has of the growth rate. Now, I say that, and it'd be interesting if people would study it. I'm not going to do it, but I still find it interesting that I just get the feeling, mind you, it's just a feeling that in certain situations, these ants, and again, because of heat and humidity, I think it's feasible to say that, depending on certain situations, the ants can control to some degree how quickly their offspring develop. So I think after the move, when they got this far larger outworld, I even still kept them connected to their old outworld, far larger nest. Is it possible that they did certain things to their offspring? It was like, yo, we got more space. We need you now. Let's go. And accelerated the process. Let me know what you think, but I think it's feasible. So, anyway, thanks everyone. Take care.